What is going on, Dolphins fans? Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. Stefon Diggs is no longer a member of the Buffalo Bills. He is no longer in the AFC East. He has been traded to the Houston Texans for a second-round pick. The Bills also got, I believe, a couple late-round picks back in return. But Stefon Diggs, the newest Houston Texan, just talking real quickly about that receiving core. That is disgusting. That is immediately the best wide receiver core, man, arguably in NFL history before they've actually been put out onto the field. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and now you add Stefon Diggs. They already had one of the best duos in the NFL last year with with Nico Collins and Tank Dell. But now you add Stefon Diggs. That team is electric. They already won a playoff game in CJ Stroud's first year. The sky is the limit for this Houston Texans team as they now add one of the best receivers in the NFL. And don't get it twisted. Stefon Diggs is still one of the best receivers in the entire NFL. You look at his stats last year, the second half of the season, it didn't end as Stefon Diggs, I'm sure, would want them to be. However, still 1,183 yards, 8 touchdowns, and that yardage mark and the touchdown mark is his lowest as a Bill. But that's just because of the high bar that he set for himself and the consistency you saw out of Stefon Diggs year in, year out. He's a very emotional player, so sometimes those emotions came out in a negative sense and hurt the team. But when he's at his best, the Buffalo Bills were at his best, as he never had below 1,000 yards on a single season with the Buffalo Bills, never had below 8 touchdowns with the Buffalo Bills. Absolutely incredible player. You look at what he did against the Miami Dolphins specifically, 719 yards over 9 games against the Miami Dolphins, 1 game with the Vikings and 8 games with the Buffalo Bills. Got in the end zone 7 times, including the 3 touchdown performance he had against the Miami Dolphins in Buffalo the first time he played them last year on 120 yards. Dude went off, and we saw later on the season him still have a very good game. 7 catches for 87 yards, did not get in the end zone, but that is by no means a bad game for Stefon Diggs in the game that ultimately won the Buffalo Bills the division. The Miami Dolphins are undoubtedly better off now with Stefon Diggs out of the division. You take that offense with and without Stefon Diggs, and obviously without Stefon Diggs was Josh Allen's first couple years when he was still developing, but the offense looked completely different, and Josh Allen had a hard time finding any of his other receivers. And then when he got Stefon Diggs, he got a lot more comfortable staying in the pocket and believing in his offense instead of just taking off and running like he so often did in those first few years. The Miami Dolphins now have an easier time going against these Buffalo Bills without him on the offensive side of the ball. You look at who the Bills are left with. You're looking at Khalil Shakir. You're looking at Curtis Samuel. You're looking at Mac Hollins, who they also just brought in. It's not a great wide receiver core, and certainly they're going to continue to add to this receiver core, likely through the draft. They do get that second-round pick back in return, so there's a really good chance the Bills use one of their top draft picks on a wide receiver, or go out and find somebody that's available out there, potentially a T. Higgins. They do not have a lot of money to spend, but rest assured they are going to find a way to get a guy in. But at very least for now, the Miami Dolphins are better off without Stefon Diggs in the division. Talented guy, yes, maybe his best days are behind him. He's 30 years old. He's probably not going to be getting any better. He's probably not going to be getting any quicker of a first step. You're probably not going to see his 40 time improve from where he's at today, but you still have a very productive receiver. 107 catches, 1,183 yards last year is still high-level production from the wide receiver position, and you get that in a wide receiver 1 to join with Tank Dell, to join with Nico Collins and CJ Stroud that the Houston Texans are now fortunate to have at their disposal. Houston Texans have to be one of the favorites to win the entire AFC next year, but just as for the AFC East, it does make the AFC East a little bit more winnable. I don't know what this Buffalo Bills offense is going to look like in totality, because we still have to wait to see who they do bring in, if they do bring in anybody at all to replace Stefon Diggs. You still know Josh Allen's a very capable quarterback, has been one of the best quarterbacks in the league for a very long time, but he has struggled to find wide receivers not named Stefon Diggs. So whether it's chemistry, whether it's just pure talent, whatever the reason is, without Stefon Diggs, Josh Allen has proved to be a very different quarterback. He's a lot less willing to stay there in the pocket and let the play unfold. He's a lot more willing to just take off and gain yards with his feet, trusting his own athletic ability. And that's what that's what we saw from Stefon Diggs, is just that security blanket of just being consistently one of the top 5, at worst top 10 guys in the league. He does everything you could want from wide receiver. He's quick. He's great off the line. He has great hands. His route running ability is one of the best in the entire NFL. Everything you want in a wide receiver, you get at least at a competent to high level with Stefon Diggs. And that's what the Houston Texans are getting. And that's what the Miami Dolphins no longer have to worry about. Yeah, you want to sit here as a fan and be like, I don't care who is lining up on the other side, on the other team. I don't care who they got. I trust my team to be able to take care of them, both on the offensive side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball. But let's just keep it a stack. Let's just keep it real. The Dolphins haven't won the division in a very long time, and we lost the division to this Buffalo Bills team that has really taken over the mantle as the crown of the AFC East ever since Tom Brady left. And look, I'll take it. I'll take whatever means the Dolphins end up winning the AFC East. Yeah, you want to play against the best and then beat the best to feel like you're the best, but that's just not where the Dolphins are. The Dolphins have continued to disappoint and let down when coming against these better teams, when coming against these very Buffalo Bills who beat us twice last year, most importantly for the division at the end of the season. So this division does get a little bit easier. Aaron Rodgers coming back for the Jets and what they've done to add to that team, they're going to be on the come up, and it's going to be a real three-horse race, three-team race between the Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, and New York Jets. That is going to be just electric football to watch while the Patriots are still down at the bottom and not going anywhere anytime quickly. But for those three teams, they're all stacked right there, right on top of each other. I think Hard Rock Bet has the win totals for the three teams at 10.5 for the Bills, 10.5 for the Dolphins, and 9.5 for the New York Jets. So that just shows how close this division is with those three teams. And I'm interested to see how much this affects things. I can't imagine it dropping them down to 9.5, like if you lost Josh Allen or something like that. But I'm happy as a Dolphins fan today. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm not insecure in the fact that I believe the Dolphins have a better chance of winning the AFC East and beating the Bills in general. Now with Stefon Diggs out of the division, I hope him the best. I really enjoy watching him as a wide receiver for a long time now. He's been one of my favorite players on a team that I hate in the NFL. I hate the Bills. I hate seeing them win. But just his play style, and when you get that raw emotion out of him when things are good, I don't know how many more wide receivers are more fun to watch in this league. But it is clear that there was a negative turn when it came to Stefon Diggs over the last couple of years. Just too much off-season drama and honestly even in-season drama at times with Stefon Diggs. I'm sure that led to a pretty big reason as to why he is no longer on the Bills. All the drama that he was causing, his on-field production did not waver. He still nearly had 1,200 yards last year, 107 catches on what was a bad season, or at the very least a bad end to the season. But he's still a phenomenal player. Has a few years left in this league to produce at a high level. He's going to be given arguably the next version of Josh Allen, big, athletic, mobile guy that can just launch it over the top. You don't really have a closer to comparison to Josh Allen in this league right now as what you have with CJ Stroud. So I'm very excited to see him team up with CJ Stroud. We are going to get to see them play Miami Dolphins one time this year, so no longer twice a year. However, Houston Texans, the Miami Dolphins will be playing in Houston this upcoming season, so we will still have to play him one time. However, he's going to not be as big of an effect on the AFC East as he once was. Let me know down below your thoughts on this trade. How do you think it ended up for both teams, for the Texans, for the Bills? Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think the Bills are going to go out and replace Stefon Diggs with a top-level receiver like T. Higgins? Maybe hit the free agency market and find a guy like Michael Thomas, or go to the draft like the Miami Dolphins may end up doing. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with the Buffalo Bills. As for now, all we know is Stefon Diggs is no longer a Buffalo Bill. If you are excited about that, if that makes you happy like it does me, let me know down below in the comments. While down there, hit that like button, hit that sub button. We appreciate y'all very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Go Dolphins.